What's up, everyone? I'm the Kaiju no Kami here with...
Angry at false start reviews. I'm Cruellica Kain.
And we are here to talk about Donbrothers, episodes 6, 7, 8.
Yes. Once again, still not focusing on the Red Ranger.
Nope, he's only had a little bit of stuff.
It's basically like one of those modern urban fantasy novels where you have like main characters in the stories, and then every few chapters you get like this weaving side story. That's kind of how I feel like Momoi Taro is right now. He's this weaving side story in a continuous narrative about the ongoings of Pink, Black, Blue, and Yellow.
So episode 5, we've got Pink, who...
Wait, it was episode
6. We've got Pink, who everything is going to his head. It turns out that they apparently gain points for all the battles they win.
So, okay, I have to question this. If they are on a point system for their success rate in battles, how do they get quantified? Because all the other Rangers, they fight, but they get knocked down a lot. They do get up and get knocked down again. I am not going to do this song, don't worry. But still, no, in all reality, how does the person who manages these points, which we do find out who it is, subjectively, how do they quantify this? But, so Tsuyoshi is having like the best, it feels like it's just a day, but it seems like it's been over the course of a few days. He went from having a good praising by his leader.
Well, it starts out with him him and his wife are going to this award thing that she got, but then he suddenly makes an excuse. I forgot to do something at work, and then he's like, yeah, I can't go her. I'll be an embarrassment to her.
Well, in all honesty...
And I'm telling you, she's related to George, because she's got the same things in her hair that George has in his hair in Revise.
Is she going to do a workout video soon?
Who knows? Maybe it'll be a workout video on how to handle 2 different personalities.
I'll get into that later. But anyways, I really appreciate, and ever since Juoger, the blocks when you had the world.
Okay.
Ever since that series, which did a horrible representation of mental illness in any shape or form, I feel like this year's Toku series, both Revise and Donbrothers, are actually talking about it in like subtle ways, but they're not making jokes of it. And I don't know if it's because COVID changed the world where we're like, holy shit, everybody's isolated. Mental illness really is a problem. But then again, we're in America and nobody talks about mental illness in a positive way. We have mental illness on display with Kanye West, and everybody is like, oh, he's acting weird again. Let's ignore it. But...
Well, or Ezra Miller getting arrested twice in Hawaii. Everyone's just like, yeah, okay. No one's actually giving these people psychological help.
Well, nobody's recognizing that there's a problem.
Well, because nobody wants to. They don't want to recognize there's a problem.
And that's the one thing that I think is kind of fascinating in Japan right now with these shows, because they're targeted towards children. Yes, we're adults, and there are many adults, even in Japan, who watch these shows. So I think it's fascinating that they're having these subtle conversations of even using that element of, I'm embarrassed, I think she'll be embarrassed by me because everyone around her is going to look like, wow, why are you with this loser? And then he goes through this transformation. Like, everything is coming up roses. That's why I actually love the episode title, Pheasant King for the Day. And he gets all of these accolades. He gets a promotion. Everything that could go right for him assumptively goes right. And you see his relationship.
And he starts to act like a dick to people.
Well, especially when he goes to Momoi. I was like...
Oh, and the server at the restaurant.
Well, yeah, but Momoi was first. Because he goes up to him like, I want you to work for me. I think you would be great. And Momoi is saying something wrong. Because usually when people who do have a mental... that type of mental illness, which usually comes from being extremely introverted and uncomfortable in their own skin, when they do get this element of confidence, it's not unilateral, but when they get this element of confidence, they go to the crazy route. Like, they're just in it. It's like, I get recognized, I am going to take this for all it's worth. And they don't think of how it's affecting other people. So first you have Momoi. He is... But then again, Momoi has the emotional range of a teaspoon. Basically, it's like, no, I don't like it. I don't like this. Go away. Then the waiter. And this is where you could see that Miho was like, there's something wrong here. And it takes her getting hurt, essentially from...
passing out, which they don't know from what.
Well, yeah, but getting hurt, passing out. It takes her going into the hospital for him to, like, reflect. And I love at the end of the episode when he says, I've turned down the promotion. She's like, thank God. You were so failing at it. I'm happy to have you back. And I think that's the important thing.
So we had, our monster was Jiuozher.
Which I was, so...
Which is funny, because you were just mentioning...
Well, I love the design of the monster. So getting back to the actual Toku part of the show, not the drama of it. I love the design of it, having like that shark head. Now, I was a little confused by having the shark head open because you had another face and then something in its mouth.
Well, that's why I was trying to figure out what that was. Because
I thought it was like a bird.
Well, I probably was, given it was Jiuozher. But I was trying to look. I'm like, is that Gao Ranger? Because I'm trying to think of the series that had sharks. Well, Geki Ranger, and then I was like, well, the body looks like it has tusks, but I can't tell for sure because there was never an actual like shot of the monster standing still. He was always in action.
But I did like the color orientation. So the top half was like different variations of gray, and then the bottom half was all color. And
then we got our little bits of information on who the villains are, mm-hmm. Or well, they're not technically villains. Their job is to get rid of humans that have too much.
So basically, they're trying. So in their own foobar way, the Cerebrum. So like Cerebro.
Yeah, I know that part.
But they actually kind of felt like they're not villains, but their responsibilities are a little skewed.
They're an antivirus program.
Essentially, yes.
Because if we're going to go with the whole, this is probably still is a virtual world, they're an antivirus program.
But here's a question when we get to episode 8, and you can answer it then. Do you think what they do is right?
Well, and then we've got Blue, who has that really cool fight scene with Momotaro. with Don Momotaro. Blech.
Don
Whatever.
Momotaro.
When we had the camera going above them, going around them. Pretty awesome. But then we had the one dude trying to laugh.
Oh, yeah, Shinoza.
And then we've got the girl
Shinona.
who is there and just like looking to figure out what love is. And now I'm just thinking of...
Oh my god, the song! What is love? Okay. I honestly cannot wait for the day where that 80s song is kind of forgotten. I like the 80s song, but it needs to kind of just die down. It's a meme now.
It's a meme for everything. It's going to be there forever.
It's really a meme because of the stupid SNL skit.
But whatever. But yeah, when I eventually review that show, that's totally going to be...
Oh no, don't do the
song.
SNL skit.
Every time I show a scene of her, that I'm gonna have, maybe that's what I'll do.
No, it's a 90s song.
Well, whatever. Every time those three, I'm gonna find theme songs for all three of them, or sound effects. Actually, there you go. So every time she appears on screen, that I'm gonna have that song to come up. Mm-hmm. Every time Sonoza goes on screen, I'm gonna have Titus's laugh in the background. Ha ha ha! Ha 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 ha!
Oh, God.
And then for Blue,
Sonoi.
I haven't figured it out yet because he hasn't had any like technical gimmick show up yet.
Well, so...
But I like the music that's playing around whenever they're on screen. That, like, mystical, whimsical music.
Well, I kind of found it funny, like, when we got to episode 8 and she's talking about love and she brings out, like, a perfume bottle. I was like, oh, it's like the commercial! But
I love the contacts in their eyes.
Actually, they look natural. I know they're not, but they look really well with their skin tones as well.
Well, it really makes their eyes pop.
Well, exactly.
But yeah, so we've got blue and yellow.
So
in front of the dude in the prison who tells them all the information up until they're like, well, who's the Avatar Master or whatever it was? And he's like, time's up.
Well, yeah, I'm like, this is like what you have happen in an RPG, a JRPG. You get, especially like Persona games, you get like this much information when your questions are this much. And you're like, okay, so I'm going to have to decipher everything based on this tinge of information that you gave me that is not even in any kind of, like, order.
And then, so we have the battle, no normal mech battle.
We just have the alter change.
Just the horrible Duoger blah.
Now, here's a question for you. Do you feel like this series is utilizing the alter change in lieu of mech battles? Or do you still feel...
What do you mean?
So, like, okay, for episodes 6 and 8 today that we watched...
Oh yeah, you mean his mini...
Yes.
Yeah, those are obviously meant to be the mech battles.
But do you feel like those are better in a way than doing the traditional mech battles, just to have something different?
Well, for changing up the formula sake, yes. I do like that not every episode has a giant mech battle going on. Because
I find it fascinating because when they're doing the mech battles, it's kind of giving me like that Ant-Man feel. Because when he grows smaller, even though I do have to say, every time watching Don Momotaro do the alter change and having to see the suit actor like literally fall back, because that is a fear of mine to ever do a trust fall exercise, because I would so drop a bitch. I am not coordinated enough for that.
But yeah, so they defeat the monster, they get the Duoger coin, and everything is back to normal. Oh, and Momotaro having his fight with the dude when he's laughing.
Yes. I actually like it because they're almost having like a laugh battle, because Momotaro telling Sonoza, this is how you laugh.
Wait, Sonoza, oh man, oh no, it was the other one, the next episode when he fought the blue one.
Yes.
With the camera.
Sonoi is the next episode, but I knew what you were talking about. But I like how they integrate these 3 Cerebrums into the story.
I didn't catch the name of the monsters. There was so much information.
Well, like I said, it's an RPG. They're going to throw this much information at you really quick.
Yeah.
And you have to catch it.
But there was so much information, I did not catch the name of the monsters.
No, I didn't either. So then we get to episode 7, which
was blue and yellow.
But here's the question I have for you, because you had talked about this, like having random people from the public coming in and reading the students. Is it normal to have like that teacher for the day where you have a strange... I didn't know if that happened in schools.
No, because they have to have a licensed professional in there for legality reasons.
Well, that's what confused me. It also seemed like they were in detention with how few people there were.
Well, yeah, it was like the class was empty, pretty much. There was no actual teacher around.
But also, if you think about it, we're still in the world of COVID, so they probably did that on purpose.
Yeah,
But I like how Yellow's name is now Plagiarist. That's her nickname. And she's become, like, numb to it.
It's like, yeah, whatever.
But I kind of felt for her. I'm like, I would punch somebody if they called me Plagiarist. But anyways, she is basically our narrator for the episode. Even though it's a blue and yellow episode, Yellow is narrating for us.
And then Blue comes in and is like the guest teacher, does all this stuff that starts getting the class all like, they're all like, what the hell? Oh my god! Oh yeah, I'm doing this,
Well, okay, so he's talking about, it kind of felt like The Secret, where they say, unlock your imagination.
Imagination!
And I actually thought
from Toku.
Yes. And so he's like doing this random thing where it looks like he's eating, and then everybody can visualize him eating soba noodles. I thought it was a little weird that he was dipping it into a cup, and then after he was done, he poured something into that cup and was drinking from it. So I was like, was he dipping his soba noodles in the tea? Or I've never had traditional soba noodles like that, so I really don't know. And then he encouraged everybody else to do it. So you had 2 students playing video games, one playing a LAN game where it looked like he was doing like...
2 were like making out with someone, and it was funny. He was like, oh, I don't need to go into details on that.
And then you had another one eating sushi, which I do agree with what Blue said. The kid who was doing the sushi, his pantomime was like phenomenal.
Especially when he chokes on it.
Yeah! I was like, that is commitment.
And then Red comes in, Taro comes in, and they're all like, okay, my job is I deliver packages. Everyone's happy. That's my job. Bye.
And he says he does it because he lost rock, paper, scissors. And then everyone who's seen the previous episodes is kind of giggling because we know how he lost. Because the dumbass says what he's going to do beforehand. So you could clearly tell he has not learned his lesson. And so then people start asking him random questions. And we get to Yellow asking who we are to you. And he says, you're my companions. Blue then asks, then why are you attacking us? To train you. Okay. All I thought of, and I know I do this all the time, everybody, but I thought of you. Because when we're playing fighting games, and not just me and you, but you and Silverquill, you and Chrysalid, you and Advent, anytime we're playing fighting games, you have this need to show everybody how it's done. And you will overkill.
But sometimes I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just doing it, pressing the buttons and seeing what happens.
But, okay, when you do know what you're doing with, like, MK, this is why Silverquill will not play fighting games with you
Or
anymore.
Christy in Dead or Alive.
So Silverquill generally will not play fighting games with him anymore. Actually, I'd love to see you play now since Chrysalis has taught him. But...
Remember how much I kicked his ass with Christy in Dead or Alive a few months ago?
My God. So basically, when he plays a character he knows, basically his main, as most people call it in the fighting game world, he schools you. And
as long as I don't play online. Then if I play online, like, I haven't even got the chance to hit them.
I know! I love when you play online because it's like perfect revenge.
But I didn't even get the chance to press a button. How did I lose already? What just happened?
But when it's with people you know, you have to school them and you drive them nuts.
Flip, bump, kick.
And you go overkill, which is kind of what I think of Momoi Taro.
Or with Tira in Soul Calibur.
Yes, I get the... No, actually, I think you overkilled with the pirate guy a lot, too.
I didn't play the pirate guy.
Oh, no, that was so
I played Tira.
And he hated playing the pirate guy against you because Tira was way too fast. All right, nevertheless. Okay, George. You're going to do an exercise routine with what you do for your games. Nevertheless, I thought of that, like, mental philosophy that Momoi Taro had of, I'm doing it to train you. Because later in the episode when they're fighting, he literally throws Yellow out the way.
One thing we forgot to mention. So we've got, in episode 6, Pink and Red are there imagining a match against each other where it's sumo wrestling.
Oh, God.
Arm wrestling, and then thumb wrestling. And then we have Blue starts trying to think of
ways to fight him because he's so pissed off.
Sumo wrestling, arm wrestling, and even distracted, Taro wins, and the thumb wrestling again. But so we've got this guy trying to play, beat him in
karate moves.
Karate, he outdoes him, and then this guy starts to try to play shogi, which just brought nightmares of Yakuza to me, because I'm like, no, not shogi. What are you guys even doing? Yeah, okay. See, that dude losing to Taro that quickly is exactly how quickly I lose to the AI in Yakuza.
And then when they do go against each other, it was still tragic.
And then, then the principal comes in because he's the monster, which is 5-man. Obviously, being teachers.
Oh, don't even...
I'm not saying obviously.
Well, you said obviously, but...
No, when I realized it made sense.
Well, yeah, because we're looking at it.
Because I'm trying to try his design, I'm like, is that a globe? Is he supposed to be like
the world?
Bokinger, like where they would go around the globe? And then it was 5-man, I was like, oh, teacher, principal, that makes a lot of sense. But that is so obvious. Why did I not think of it?
Oh, okay. But it was actually, so I really love the monster design. Because with the globe, it was like breaking up in a way. So it looked decrepit.
Well, it looked like the inside of a beehive was...
Yes, because it was very... But the monster, the teacher himself, when he was doing it...
The principal,
because they were in like this classroom, and everybody's getting chastised except for Red. Because Red basically... So I've actually come to a conclusion. The only person who doesn't know that Red is Taro
is black.
Is Inuzaki right now.
Well, I think that he's the only one they don't know that they are.
Yes, who doesn't know everybody else is who they are. But I like the monster battle. It wasn't my favorite of all the episodes.
I'll say it was weird seeing those CGI pink and black in that classroom sitting there, especially because Kiji, his legs were too short. When they first went into the desks, his legs weren't long enough to fit.
And then they made it longer.
But then later, his legs are longer. I'm like, okay.
But I still like when Kiji transforms, unlike what they did with
when he transforms into Patron Pink.
Yes, because unlike what they did in Gokaiger, when they did the pink roll calls ever, and they adjust.
Well, if a male
costumes.
ranger transformed into pink, they lost the skirt.
Yes, I like how they're still keeping the outfits authentic.
He doesn't even think about it.
He doesn't care anymore, and I love that as well. It's like, you know what? It's cool.
And then, so then we had the fight with the blue
Sonoi.
With the really cool camera. And
because Sonoi said you would be a great servant. And Don Momotaro is like, you know, you'd be a terrible companion. And I'm like, but you find out, especially when we get into episode 8, that they're literally the same type of personality.
But yeah, so
it's actually adorable.
Okay, episode 8. Pink is now my favorite ranger. Because the fact that he stopped Red from saving the dude.
Okay, I was gonna ask this. Okay, so basically the monster of the week is this crazy long-haired dude who is drawing people and looking for his ultimate model. Now, the one thing to mention is, unlike the fact of other episodes where it's usually like for episode 6, it was a nurse. And you find out how that nurse becomes the monster of the week because all 3 of the Cerebrums
do something with their minds.
They do something to see
unlocking a door.
Who they can not trick, but who they can find that is going crazy. So we know what it is because it's also a nurse at the hospital caring for Miho. Episode 7, it's the principal. And the only reason I think everybody figures out it's a principal is because Yellow even says during the episode that the principal has been out a lot. So 2 + 2 = 4. This particular episode...
2 + 2 is 22.
In episode 8, nobody knows this guy. Nobody knows who he is, what his motivations are.
So yeah, we've got this artist who is apparently trying to draw Kaito, which was funny because Yellow...
he looked all emo.
Yellow thought he was drawing her.
Because, and honestly, then I could see where she's coming from because he constantly is looking up, and if you think about the direction of his eyes...
But then her face, when she finds out he's looking at Kaito, it seems like she's like, oh... Damn it! It's not me.
And then offers it's kind of like the whole episode where she thought she was a hostage. Then she was like, "No, I want to be a hostage." She has very skewed.
So we've got
beliefs.
That going on with this guy trying to find a model. Then we've got Sonoi doing her love thing at a restaurant.
No, that's Sonona.
Well, that's what I was asking.
Oh, Sonona.
Yeah, Sonona doing her love thing at a restaurant. Guy gets all into her, and then Black shows up, and he's like, nope. Did you leave this woman alone? He goes and has a coffee, and she comes up trying to flirt with him. He's like, yeah, leave me alone.
Okay, question for the world. I have actually 2 questions for the world. 1, how big of balls does he have to walk into a public place, order a coffee, sit there, having his face totally exposed, even though he lifts up the collar of one, that somehow hides him from view. Second question. How inept are the police that this man, ballsy enough, is just walking around, but the police are nowhere ever?
Whatever. But I like all I know is I thought of oh no. she's going to be totally infatuated with him now because he's the only one to totally blow her off.
No, I think she's still infatuated with Red. So I think...
Well, obviously, but it's going to be that...
No, I understand. But it was kind of interesting because he's like, I was in love once. And then he walks away because he thinks he sees a woman that looks like his love. I'm going to say his love, Lenore, because it sounds... Because the way he's dressing,
Lenore.
With all emo, he might as well be Edgar Allan Poe.
And then Poe emo. But, so yeah, then Kiji comes up and is like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I didn't believe you that you were innocent. They start talking about...
Their loves.
I met her. Oh, I met her here too.
So their love, so Lenore...
She cooked good. Yeah, mine did too. Oh, she did this. Oh, she did too.
So I completely forgot, or I think I just was dense enough I didn't really consciously think about it. They literally are the same person. And how long has Lenore been missing? Like a year?
I think he said a year, and Kiji's been married for 4 months.
And I'm assuming they probably met like a few months prior to that. I don't know how the courtships in Japan
All
go.
I know is clearly whoever's manipulating this world erased her memory of being
Lenore.
Not Natsumi? Was that her name?
I think so, but I'm going with Lenore because
Natsumi, then made her, and then programmed her to fall in love with Kiji. Which is going to be kind of interesting when they finally actually meet.
Because then Kiji invites Inu to come home for home cooking. They get to the house, and Kiji's looking at the wedding photo of him and Miho. And he's like, would you like to look at us all lovey-dovey? Which the answer should always be for a man, no.
Like, really? Are you kidding me?
I don't think I've met any man ever, anyone of the male persuasion, let me just put it that way. And this could be trans, this could be cis, whatever. I have never met a man who has ever been eager to look at wedding photos. Women, on the other hand...
Oh, let me see! Oh, this is so cool!
But anyways, Kiji's like, wait, my wife's late. We find out she's been kidnapped.
By the artist.
And she is my favorite person.
Uses his hair.
Because she's like, well, let me cut your hair. If you want to become a popular artist, you don't want to look like a starving artist. So she cuts his hair and uses...
Are those the same thing?
I don't know. You tell me, house husband.
But...
Anyways...
I need a house first.
She cuts his hair and ties it around his hands. I was like, that is awesome. Because technically, for anyone who was not familiar with this, hair is actually incredibly strong. Now, a single strand you can...
So, while that's
easily.
going on, we have... Sonoi and Momoi end up... First, Momoi finds these guys trying to break into his car. Sonoi comes up and he goes to stop them and ends up finding, oh, I guess I didn't need to stop them. And then, later on, there's an apartment burning and both of them go in, separate, find the people that are still in there, transform, find them, but then when they come back, you're all like, uh-oh, are they going to actually see each other? Are you going to see each other? And then when they come back, they get de-transformed. Like, oh, bastards.
I thought that was a good bait and switch, though. But...
And then you see the truck driving past, and when the truck goes, both of them are gone because of the monster finally at that point.
Well, and I thought the one thing I really appreciated about that is because once again you see that these Cerebrums are not evil. Now, they're killing people, yes, but they are intentionally not
They're
evil.
just doing what they're programmed to do.
Well, yeah, and yes, you can question.
So then we get to the battle. and have some really cool camera work again. Then we have Pink.
A new move. So basically, first we have a new move by Red, which is called Party Time, because apparently on top of his henshin gun, there's a button that he presses to do a party. So we never get to really see, like, the full move. We get to see it, but it's so quick.
But yeah, so we have the battle going on. Momotaro goes to heal, essentially, the monster. And Pink is like, nope! So that Sonoe can go in and kill the artist.
And we don't get any resolution to how all of the Rangers feel about it. Because basically, once the battle is done,
they all teleport back.
They leave.
And then we have at the end, Pink saying, I don't care, I'm going to protect her, even if it means letting people die, basically. And I was like, okay, he's now my favorite Ranger because he is not going to be, oh no, we have to save them all.
Well, here's a question. So, Sonoe, he's doing what's programmed. Right or wrong, he's doing basically the normal process. His mindset hasn't changed, right or wrong. But Pink, I understand where you think he's cool because he's doing what he needs to do to save his wife. But at the same time, compared to Sonoe, he willfully killed someone. Now, has there been, in all the years of Sentai, any Rangers that willfully just killed someone? And I don't mean a villain, but just, well, actually is kind of like a villain, Monster of the Week.
Well, it's hard to say because there's never really been, usually it's just been the person's healed after the monster's destroyed, so it doesn't really matter.
But in this, the monster and the man are dead.
As far as we know.
Well, okay.
As far as they know, they're dead if one of the three Onis.
But I'm going to go with that, and yes, this is modern Sentai, that may not be the case, because I know he went into the Superman world of the mirrors, but the mirrors cracked. It just makes me question, like, let's say he's dead. Do you think, having watched so many series, do you think for the core of what a Ranger is, that still is right?
Yeah. Because it doesn't matter. It's the fact that he's like, I'm not going to let this possible serial killer get healed.
And that's, I think, the one interesting conflict I have. Like, I know what Inoue does. Inoue pushes the envelope. Inoue is not a storyteller who takes it, who really goes easy. Yes, we have conflicts of how the second half of Hibiki went, but even...
That wasn't all totally him.
Well, I know, production, but when Inoue is at his best, because you can even look at Jetman.
Jetman, Higito, Fies.
Well, I'm looking at Jetman specifically because that's Sentai versus Kamen Rider. And Kamen Rider, bodies hitting the floor, dead, is normal. But in Sentai, with Jetman, Kiji reminded me like of a...
Guy?
Yes. Because I could see Guy doing this. Like, that was a total Guy move. But at the same time, I know. G-A-I Guy, not...
I know.
But for Tsuyoshi, who is Kiji, I kind of feel conflicted because
No,
I understand where you're coming from, but him as a character outside of Kiji Ranger or Don Kiji or Kijibrother, Tsuyoshi is like very sweet And he loves his wife. Yes, he loves his wife more than anything else. I feel like she actually saved him because I could see him going into like a deep, dark, depressing hole if he didn't have that bright light. And I'm conflicted because that's so out of character for him. But at the same time, if you see your loved one in a situation where they escaped this unknown entity, I found it fascinating because that's an envelope that hasn't been pushed in modern Sentai. I would say the last time you could even feel something remotely like, oh my god, a ranger pushed an envelope. I don't even think
it's been a long time.
I was going to say, I'm thinking of like Time Ranger. I don't even know. I think possibly Decker Ranger with certain things, but I can't even say Geki. Geki pushed the envelope, but never to that degree.
No, they were still save everyone. And
Exactly. So this is something, and to have the sweetest, like gumdrop type character do it, is what was so crazy.
Well, and that's what I thought it was like. It was completely unexpected. It was like, holy shit, this dude is badass.
And so the only person who knows Kiji is the Pink Ranger is Momoi. And now if you think about it, knowing that there's a point system, how is this going to affect that? Because the only way to escape the Donbrothers, so to speak, to escape being a ranger,
Is to get enough points.
is to get enough points. But right now, the only person who has a lot of points was Yellow, Oni's sister. And so it makes you wonder, like, okay, what if you go back into arrears? What happens then? Like, let's say he goes to 0 or negative. That's what I mean by arrears of points. What happens if he loses all of his points?
You just have to start over. Because if you remember, he lost points for the way he was acting in episode 6.
Oh, no, I know that, but will this just demolish all of his points because he crossed a line?
He didn't cross a line. He was fully right in his decision making.
Okay, I'm not saying he was... Well, I don't know if everybody would agree with you. And I agree to a point, but I don't know if murder is the...
It's like the philosophy that I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you.
Okay. If you look at it like that, I can see where you're coming from. But he knowingly...
And that's exactly what he did. He didn't kill the guy, but he didn't save him.
Yeah, but in the scheme of things, he would still be guilty of murder. Because he did still... Even if he didn't do anything to stop the murder, he's still guilty of it if he knew and kind of didn't prevent it from happening. I just think as a hero, it muddies things up a little bit.
Which is what we need. We need the Rangers to have that muddy aspect.
But why does it have to be the gumdrop? The sweetest character.
Because you didn't expect it.
Like, I absolutely... Because Kijibrother, even if I hate the CGI, I've always loved Kijibrother. Because so many reasons. One, first male Pink Ranger.
Okay, you know what?
And he's
think of it this
an
way.
older character.
It made me think of the Doctor Who episode with David Tennant with the Blood Family. Where we saw how extreme he will go when you put people he cares about in danger. When he locked all the Blood Family in the mirror and the glasses for eternity.
Yeah, but he didn't kill them.
It doesn't matter. It's still the same kind of purpose, like where it was like, oh my god, okay, this guy is ruthless, and I love it.
It does make you look at the character differently. Because...
It gives them a dark side.
It does. And you're like...
And it shows they're only human.
Well, there is that.
But yeah,
But if they were to bring this series to America... I don't think they would... They would have to do...
I mean... Hasbro's isn't seen to be treating Power Rangers like strictly a child's show. From what I hear, Beast Morphers got pretty dark and actually has connections to RPM.
That wasn't RPM like super hella dark?
Yeah. That was the one where the world was taken over.
Oh, yeah. We watched that.
Yes. Like, what?
I was a little confused by it sometimes, but I enjoyed it.
Why do we have all these explosions that occur whenever we transform? Why do our Zords have anime googly eyes? And
yeah.
They're not... What's with the spandex? It's not spandex. But, no, I could actually see Hasbro doing something if they were to adapt Donbrothers. I could see them doing something along those lines, maybe not to the extreme, but hopefully doing something that amps up the seriousness of everything. But anyway, that's all we've really got for these episodes. Oh, and it was Kira Major.
Oh yeah.
Which I kind of figured when I thought about, like, oh, he's trying to draw all the time. So he's Kira Major essentially. And we didn't have a regular mech battle. We had the tiny
alter change.
And I did like Momotaro when he was constantly transforming into the different teams.
Yes, I like that because he was actually utilizing certain elements of what those teams did during that fight. Like with Pot Ranger having the armor, for Lupin Ranger having the hook, or the grappling hook, and all those different things. I was like, this is creative.
But what did you guys think of these episodes of Donbrothers? Let us know in the comments. Click like, subscribe, the bell notification, whatever else YouTube decides to have you click on.
And by the way, hopefully we'll be more consistent of doing these episodes weekly. It just apparently hospitals, conventions, everything that can get in the way of us recording has gotten in the way. I won't go into the hospital again anytime soon. Knocking on wood. Hey! I was in the hospital 2 weeks ago. Thank you very much. Stop it. Are you searching for metal?
I don't know. Might be a bit jammed. But anyway, you can support us, Kaiju no Kami, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Patreon, Discord, and the website is creativitybydesignllc.com, and the store is at creativitybydesignllc.com/shop.
I'm so proud of you. Compared to yesterday, you remembered the .com.
Quiet, you. I was waiting for you to make that comment. That's how predictable you are.
Mm-hmm.
Ha 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 ha!
Crazy! I just got I got a promotion.
Yeah, she's been promoted to Creativity Fool.
Creativity Fool. That's stupid. I am awesome. So the house husband has more money coming to him. Not really, but we like to pretend.
Whatever. Until next time, bye.